I hope and pray that more people end up becoming shareholders. I can't make someone do that. I can only encourage them. But if you're going to stay in this industry and you're going to stay in this business, why not?
Yeah.
It's another piece of your financial puzzle that does make us different. Okay, Doug. A topic that I think is one of our biggest advantages that I want to talk to you today about is legacy assurance. The reason that I want to talk to you about legacy assurance in more detail is that you have sold for Lincoln Heritage. You have used the FCGS. And when you compare the two, legacy assurance versus FCGS, I'd like for you to keep it simple and real what the differences are.
Okay. So I'd say the biggest difference is legacy is real and FCGS is fake. And what I mean by that is there's nothing behind the FCGS. You know, we fill out a couple pieces of paper and they fax it to a funeral home and they say that that helps the family. Where I've seen firsthand how powerful and how important the representatives at Legacy are that actually get out and work with and talk with these funeral directors and negotiate down the prices. And on top of that, being able to provide locked in merchandise, casket, vault, headstone, urn at a fraction of what it costs today. Super high quality stuff, locked in forever, provide living benefits like 24-hour doctor care, discounts on diabetic supplies, hearing aids, discounts on prescription drugs. And I know there's more things coming down the pipeline, but to be able to provide all of that in addition to a life insurance policy, right? Whereas just with the FCGS, again, all it is a couple pieces of paper that they filled out and they fax those forms to the funeral home and they say that they're helping the families.
Well, I would say let's give the FCGS just a little bit more credit. It's really, they really don't do much of anything to speak of because a family member could do the same thing that the FCGS does or states that it does. There's nothing wrong with having an advocate try to get a lower cost funeral.
Yeah.
I think that's is a benefit. But I know what you mean when you compare the two. It's like daylight and dark.
No doubt.
We do the exact same thing that the FCGS does, which is negotiate the cost of the funeral for their family. But we take it way much deeper than that. When you start talking about providing a casket or a monument or marker, and you're talking to a family, it actually helps the agent that's weak close more business. And I have to say that, and I don't want to get off on comparing the two, but when you start talking to someone about their casket, that's about as emotional as you can get.
Yeah, there's no doubt there.
And, when you lock in the casket price, that no matter when they pass away, when you can provide actual merchandise, it does separate us dramatically from the FCGS. And what I have seen firsthand is that the families, if you ever go to a funeral home or if you ever go to a funeral where we've provided the casket and we've provided the death claim check, it's amazing what and how the family will thank you so much more when their loved one's laying in that casket.
Yeah.
And it kind of from a policyholder standpoint, they feel like they have a total package,
Yeah.
much more beyond just life insurance. You know, there's a big difference between the two, and I know that you have used both, and I know it's been years since you've used the FCGS, but it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And
But like you said, it will help an agent, weak or strong, make more sales, right? It will help business stay on the books, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which was renewals, because you will make more money by utilizing legacy assurance.
there's no doubt about that. You know, we've done many studies from the company level, and it is proven that no matter what month that you check the persistency, uh, business without or business with legacy,
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge difference in persistency. So, you know, there's many reasons that legacy assurance helps, and it's a tremendous benefit for the family. And we're the only company in America that does anything like that. And with having legacy assurance as a tool for our agents
Yeah.
is another area that separates us from anybody else.
Yep.
And, you know, I've personally delivered a casket. I've personally went to funerals where we've provided the casket. And a lot of our agents have used legacy assurance. And it's a good feeling when you know that you're providing the family a great benefit, and a benefit that they will use, and a benefit that's different from anyone else. And it's just a win-win-win for everyone. Everyone wins when you use legacy assurance.
And when someone passes away, they're going to have a funeral and they need some help. And it's the right thing to do.
That is for sure. There's no way to get around death.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get around what that family's going to go through. And we, with our partnership with Legacy Assurance, it's a great benefit. And I know you've used both.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be good for you to tell what you feel the differences were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, that's the major things. Just, again, having something that's, I know I'm picking on when I say it's fake, right? Because like you said, you got to give them a little bit of credit. There's something there. They're trying, you know? But, you know, when you have something that's real, and I've seen the results, and it's not just stories, it's real stuff with real merchandise and real products and real services, and not just death services, but living benefits. I've used that stuff myself. I've called up the doctor and had prescriptions called into my pharmacy within minutes of being on the phone with them. Like, it's real stuff that helps people.
Which, and I forgot to even share that. You know, you had shared it earlier, but we will continue to strive to make legacy assurance the best we know how. But it's a great bullet to have.
Yeah.
Our agents love it. Our policyholders love it. And it's a win-win-win for everybody. So thank you for sharing a few.
You know, one other thing I do want to point out, how generous Legacy Assurance has been over the years to certain situations. Like, I know my wife had a student of hers that passed away, a young kid, and Legacy donated a casket to his family. Now, there's been other situations where Legacy has donated merchandise to families that, you know, had nothing to do with Senior Life or Legacy, just because they wanted to do the right thing by people. And I know that that's not stuff that was printed on the front page of the newspaper, but I do want to give them a lot of credit for doing some of those things, because those families needed some help and they were there for them.
And we have done that. And as we continue to grow, I'd like to see us do more.
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling when you can help a family. And, as we have success in insurance and in legacy, we have no problem in helping give back. I think that's something that when you have the success that we have, that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it everybody not only wins, but everybody feels good.
No doubt.
When that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing your thoughts and the comparisons. Another benefit that we have here at Senior Life is our enrollment of the insured.
Yeah.
And we use an app called Slice. And if you don't mind, what is the acronym? What does it stand for?
So Slice stands for, it's an acronym for Senior Life Insurance Company Enrollment.
And that app allows our agents to do what?
It's a game changer. So coming from, and I know you lived in this world too, paper applications, FedEx meetings at Friday and Thursday to overnight the application to the home office, and manually calculating rates and figuring out which plan that the senior qualifies for. Like, that's a lot of moving parts to learn and understand, And the neatest thing about Slice, in my opinion, is when a new agent starts with us, they don't have to learn all about the products, right? And all the different underwriting guidelines of them. They don't have to memorize height and weight charts or memorize if someone's diabetic, they go over here. If they're a smoker, they go over here. All they have to do is open up this app, and literally within minutes, and I'd say probably under 2 minutes, they can answer a couple of questions, and based on the responses that senior tells them, is going to basically spit out an underwriting decision, right, of what plan or plans that they qualify for. And then it's going to walk them through a proper presentation. And then it's going to price it out. And then they're going to fill out the application. They're either going to sign with their finger, or they're going to do a recording of the app if it's over the telephone, right? And you can click submit, and in less than 15 minutes, that application is done. And the only thing the agent had to focus on is building a relationship with that customer, right? Making sure that what they're looking for and what their problem is that we can solve through the policy with Senior Life. So they got to focus. That's the easy thing. And they don't have to get all caught up in underwriting guidelines and this and that, but in under 15 minutes, you're done. And it's here at Thomasville in the home office for it to go and get approved.
When you say 15 minutes, as far as the process, it really doesn't take 15 minutes to get them enrolled, but you're basically saying from start to finish, in 15 minutes, you can have someone insured and move on to the next if that's what you choose. Slice is a game changer in our industry because it allows the agent to do everything at his fingertips or her fingertips. So they're in total control. There's no underwriter that has to approve or not. Everything's done by yes, no, by the finger. And take it one step further, we will be in 2023 or sooner emailing the policy back to the client while you're in the home, or the agent creating a portal for the client so it's instantly in their portal that they can go and look at anytime they want. And it will also give a few other minor things that the policyholder can update or change. So instantly you have the decision on what plan they qualify for. Instantly, once they sign, it automatically goes straight to Thomasville, and it's issued, and agent is paid, and policy is issued, and there's no callbacks. There's no write backs. There's no plan getting changed to a modified and you having to go back out and see.
Yeah.
It's all done at the agent's fingertips instantly. And that is another bullet that we have here at Senior Life. I know we keep saying all the great things, but we do have a lot of bullets
We got a lot of them
that make a difference.
Yeah. And it's not even just the enrollment tool, it's the other resources that it has and the ability to see your pipeline of business and see exactly how much commission you're getting paid and what day you're getting paid on, that's important. You want to know.
And that's another part of Slice.
Yeah.
The agent knows while he's in the home what he's going to make off the case.
Mm-hmm.
We were texting that amount to the agent. Have we slowly got out of that, or where are we at on that? Do you know, Doug?
As far as I know, I think they still do get text messages with their commissions.
So that probably will go away once we create the portal,
mm-hmm.
and that's coming in 2023.
Yeah.
But again, we're always striving at Senior Life to have the best tools, create the best systems, the simplest and fastest that we know how.
Yeah.
And Slice is another game changer.
Yeah, huge.
There's something that I want to bring up, and that's our pay system to agents.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes our leadership forgets to talk about this benefit, but I will make this very simple. Our agents know exactly every time they submit a piece of business what they're going to get paid.
Mm-hmm. With no surprises.
With no surprises, nothing coming out of their check unless they have a lead charge.
Mm-hmm.
But it allows an agent, the way our pay system's structured, it allows an agent to know every time he submits, every time he or she submits,
mm-hmm.
I'm getting tongue twisted there, an application, they know exactly what their pay is going to be.
Yeah.
In your world, how big is that, do you feel, for agents?
In the world of sales, your next commission check is extremely important, especially early on, right? Not everybody's, can manage money that great. And it just seems that when you're in commission, there's always something that comes up. You know what I mean? So having the knowledge of how much I'm getting paid, when I'm going to get paid, and knowing exactly how much, without, again, any surprises, I mean, you can rely on it and run your household properly, and not having to worry about, the chargeback that may happen, because we do things a little bit differently with the chargebacks where they're on the back end so they don't come out of your advances. I mean, chargebacks are part of the business, whether we like it or not, right?
Correct.
And they're going to come. In my experience, they're like deaths. They come in threes, right? So it's not like you just get one.
Or they come at the
they come at the worst time, holidays, whatever. And, when I was at, other companies like Lincoln and some others, you go to get paid and there's no paycheck or a very small one because Mrs. Jones' policy lapsed and you found out about it because you got a chargeback. And that $1,000 that you were hoping to get, you got $200 or $50. And it's like, man, my wife's going to kill me.
Nothing's more disheartening to an agent to open up his checkbook and the amount that he thought was going to get deposited or the amount she thought was going to get deposited is not that amount. And that was one of the biggest up and down roller coasters for me when I was an agent early on. And that's why we created this system. It's more for the new entry level, just getting started. That means the most because the first few weeks is the most critical time for a new agent. And if he or she turns in business and they don't get paid what they got expected, it could be the mortgage is due,
Yeah.
their car payments due, their taxes are due, and if that amount doesn't get deposited the way they think, what do you think their family conversation is that weekend?
Yeah. It's not a good one. So between Slice and the portal, say you know exactly how much you're going to get paid and when you're going to get paid.
That's another awesome benefit.
You know what I mean? And it really helps you manage your money properly.
When you really sit back and think about it, it might be the single biggest difference.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, when you first told me that you pay chargebacks on the back end, I thought you were messing with me. I didn't think it was real. I'm like, there's no way you do it. Like, again, that's one of those things that, man, I wish I didn't have to take care of this. Like, I wish there was a way that I can like worry about it later or something, because I need to make money now, you know? But again, going back to that original statement, when you told me not to trust you, let me earn your trust. And, you know, all these things that you were telling me just little by little come true. I'm like, man, like it's
Well, experiencing it is better than hearing it.
no doubt.
And again, that goes back to working with a company that they understand how important it is for an agent to make money.
Yeah.
And when you're agent driven, agent focused, agent friendly, it makes a difference.
Yeah. I'll even tell you another thing that, you know, we got to talk about is the ability to verify the account information before you submit the deal. So that way, you know that you inputted the correct account and routing number to be drafted from, because there's nothing worse too than thinking you're going to get paid, because the system's we can't forecast whether that payment's going to come out or not, right? We can tell you that on October the 5th, you're going to get deposited $255.35. But if that account information that you inputted is incorrect, that payment's going to get rejected, and you as an agent are not going to get paid. But Slice fixes that, and your pay system and our pay system fixes it by verifying that information is correct. So again, nothing's guaranteed, right? Because anything can really happen, but about 99.999% that is accurate information.
You know,
that's huge, man. That's big.
Slice verifies the routing number. And if there's a problem, we make the agent fix it then.
Mm-hmm.
And on a certain percentage of banks, we can also verify the funds.
Yeah, that's
which is another very big benefit, because you know then while you're in the individual's home or while you're talking to them, what you need to address. And there's nothing more disheartening to have to go back out and see the client for anything.
Yeah.
That's the most disheartening thing.
Especially when you just missed a zero or something, you know, something silly.
You know, I can remember back in my early days, and this company still does it this way, is that if it's written wrong, they will go ahead and issue it, but they'll issue it a modified. And they send the policy out to the agent. He has an endorsement. He has to go back out and gets that client to sign. And at the end of the day, I've seen agents years ago have a stack of policies in the back seat of their car because they didn't have time or they didn't want to make time to go back and fix that.
Yeah.
So where do you think that business went?
Yeah.
Flying off the books.
Mm-hmm. You know, and there's nothing worse too than a customer putting their trust in the agent and in a company and then never receiving a policy.
Correct. Again, it's all about the agent at Senior Life. I'm sure we'll continue to improve, but we're not the type of company that tries to say we come up with every idea. And we work with some very talented individuals, and a lot of times these ideas come from someone in our leadership team. And if there are things that we can improve and it makes sense, Senior Life would do it.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is an agent has to know what his pay is going to be every time he submits an app. And here at Senior Life, we have that system.
Yes.
When did you decide, or when did you start thinking about becoming a shareholder of Senior Life. I can't remember if I talked to you about that from the very beginning, but uh, what made you decide that you wanted to be a shareholder?
So I wanted to become a shareholder pretty much as soon as I could save the $50,000. Because what back then and I don't know if you were strict on it, but I was just told that it's 3 years, 50,000. But you also did make some comments that sometimes we do it a little bit earlier if it's for the right person. Because obviously you put that package, I'll call it, together for people that are senior life all your life, people that are, playing part in the growth. It's not for the rich doctor down the road that wants to make some money on an investment. It's for us, right? So you told me about that early on. It, I would say probably like day one, no, it didn't click. But as I learned more about your story and why, kind of senior life exists and why you put that plan of stock ownership together, I wanted to be a stockholder as soon as I could save that money. And Ron, when I had $50,001 in my bank account, I became a stockholder. I did it as soon as I saved that money. And it was a little bit less than 3 years, not by much, because that's a lot of money to save up, and I wasn't having the success that I'm having today back then. But as soon as I saved it, I did it. And it's really crazy to see because we just got the letters in the mail the other day about what the stock price has gone up to this last year. And it's crazy to see what that $50,000 is today.
You know, being a shareholder was a big step for you, and I'm proud that you have become a shareholder. And I'm so glad that you see that uh, is another financial part of your family's future. Uh, there's nobody, there's no final expense company in America that offers stock to their salespeople.
Yeah.
And uh, that $50,000 investment, it will be interesting to see what that grows to over 10 years, over 15 years, over 20 years, and beyond. You know, we're talking about commissions, we're talking about renewals, now we're talking about stock ownership. And when someone does become a senior life shareholder, wholeheartedly they're sold out.
Yeah.
1,000%. It is senior life all your life. And it's amazing to me how many people still do not see or understand what that can do for you.
Yeah.
I helped a company that was very tiny become a major player in our industry. And I saw what uh, my effort had done for that company. And I just said, if I'm going to beat the roads and stay out of town and miss parties and miss graduations, then, I needed to be, I needed more.
Yeah.
And that more was take that next step. And that next step for me was to buy an insurance company. And, you know, where we're positioned today, it's kind of interesting when you hear or you compare our opportunity to others. And again, there's really no comparison, but it's people like you when you accomplish the things that you've accomplished, and when you've made the kind of money that you've made. It's another good example, another proven example of what this business at Senior Life means to someone. You know, I'm living proof. You're living proof. And, when you're living proof, it people want to follow you.
Yeah.
People want to emulate what you're doing, and people want to go down the same path that you have. But for them to do that, they've got to put forth the effort that you have and that I have. And it just, there's nobody out there that can compare to what we have to offer.
Yeah.
Just the stock ownership, if it was everything else equal, that's a big
Yeah.
difference
I
from
think
anybody else.
I don't think it's something that we talk about enough, to be honest. That for me was always a goal, to be a stockholder. I wanted it, and I wanted it really badly. And that's something that I try to talk with my team as much as I possibly can, because it's really important. And me and you had many conversations that there's some people making a lot of money in and out of our company, and maybe with other companies, whatever. And even they just don't understand how powerful that really is. Like, it's, we joking with Rob Ellsbury one day, and there was one time when I was number one and I lost that to him, and he came over to me and said, "How's it feel to be number two?" Because we always zing each other a little bit. And I said, "It's not so bad, because every time you write a policy, I'm getting paid anyways, because of the stock ownership. You find yourself rooting for everybody else also, which makes it fun." Now, because he had to rub my nose in it, I took back that number one spot. So, that's what happens, But it's grown now to it. Just in my organization alone, we have almost 10 current shareholders, including myself, with Senior Life Insurance Company. And that is really, really cool for me to say, because it's not just me. A lot of others now are starting to see that and understand how important that is, and want to be part of, that ownership of Senior Life.
Well, I think that's a testament to your leadership, and it's an answer to why you're doing so well, and you're going to continue doing well, as you have people that have bought in, you have people that believe, and you have people that have put their hard-earned money uh, behind their lips.
Yeah.
And, those are the individuals that will reap the biggest rewards. And, to me, it's crazy why every single person at Senior Life is not a shareholder.
Yeah.
Whether you have the money or not, you can make the money to become that, and that should be in my mind. And I know you said we don't talk about this enough, but it should be the first goal
Yeah.
after getting your income where you need it to be, that you take that next step. And sometimes I want to just shake people and say, wake up. What are you thinking? That you've seen what we've done. You know where we're going. You know where we're headed. Why would you not?
Yeah.
And I hope and pray that more people end up becoming shareholders. I can't make someone do that. I can only encourage them. But if you're going to stay in this industry and you're going to stay in this business, why not?
Yeah.
It's another piece of your financial puzzle that does make us different.
Yeah.
If all things were equal with every other company in our marketplace, and we offered stock and they didn't, that one thing is enough to say you should be at Senior Life.
There's no doubt there.
That one single thing. And then to take it out to where we do have the highest commission, to take it out where we do have more plans to offer, such as a guaranteed issue, just as one example that so many other companies don't have, such as Leads the Way, such as Slice. When you put all these benefits that we have and the proven success, every final expense company in America should be wanting to join Senior Life.
Yeah.
And the only reason that they don't is that they truly don't understand what all we have.
No doubt.
They've only heard bits and pieces, and, they're listening to their IMO that is trying to discourage them. So, it we keep up with what our competition does just to be abreast. And it's really funny to me when someone can look at individual in the eye and tell them a 50% contract is better than 100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, when someone gets you to believe in that, what has happened is you're at the weakest state and you actually are going to stay very, very weak to buy into a 50% contract with free leads is better than 100 and paying for your leads.
Well, I'll tell you, Ron. I mean, I've had a 50% contract before, and I paid for my own leads, and I've had a 100% contract before and paid for my own leads. And 100% contracts is a lot better than 50% contract because I've had them both.
You know,
So I don't know what anybody in their right mind, like you're right, can sit there and lie to somebody's face and make them think that that's the same thing or whatever.
you know, they tell them it's free leads, and they try to make them believe that they're not going to have any pressure on them.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a performance-based business, and whether it's 50% in free leads or 100% in paying for your leads, I promise you, if you do the arithmetic, you're paying a whole heck of a lot more for your leads at 50% than you are at 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, math is math. You can't make 50 greater than 100.
Yeah.
Or greater than 110 or 120. And, you know, that's just one example. We do have the highest commissions in our industry. We do have the best total package. And we as leaders need to get other people to see that.
You know, I think it always goes back to too, Ron, not to cut you off there, but when you're a leader and you want to grow and build your business and you want people to follow you, that you have to be an example of that opportunity. You know, how could I sit up here and say senior life, senior life, senior life and not be a stockholder? How can I say how amazing senior life is and not be making the kind of money that I'm making or take advantage of the group health insurance that, you know, that you provide to us and allow us to get? You know, that was, again, I have a family. And you know what's really neat about the group health insurance is my wife's a school teacher at probably one of the top private schools in all of the United States. And our group health insurance is better than the one that they provide. She's not on theirs, she's on ours, you know? And that's a big deal too. So where can you be an independent agent, get paid like we get paid, have leads the way that we have access to leads through things like Leads the Way, write it in like so simply, if that makes sense, get paid more than anybody else get paid, opportunity for stock, and get benefits like group health insurance. Like no independent person has access to that anywhere in America that I know of.
That's a whole subject that we could talk about a lot is
Yeah.
group health insurance. A lot of times when I used to recruit agents, as sad as this is to say, that over 50% of those individuals had no health insurance.
Yeah.
And they're in the insurance business and they have no health insurance for them or their family. It just doesn't make sense. But again, you know, I always state, just take a yellow notepad and draw a line down the center and you can put senior life versus whoever else. And when you get to the bottom and you add all the things that we do up, there's no one even close.
Right.
And, you know, our production is stating that. We today are second as far as the largest rider in our marketplace as we are today. I only think it's a few months now before we start outproducing the number one company in our market. And, you know, that's a goal that I have, and I want to see us hit that. And I do agree, you're a leader and you're not a shareholder, what does that really say? How can you be a leader and not be a shareholder? That's probably the bigger question is that, how can you tell people how great this opportunity is if you're not living it?
Mhm.
You've got to live
And
the
then wonder why people don't follow you,
That's it.
or why is my business not to where I need it to be?
Because you're not living it.
You're not living it.
And, until you live it, you're going to have a hard time getting people
Yeah.
to follow you.
Yeah. And I think that's just that's the bigger secret, I think, to building a large organization is that right there. That you got to be it. You got to, in the words of, I'll give A.L. Williams a little credit, you got to do it first. That's what you always say. You got to be the product of your opportunity.
So I'm going to take it one step further. Not only do you have to do it, you got to continue doing it.
You do. Yeah. It doesn't stop. I mean, just to give an example, to do $1.5 million in a month is pretty darn good job. Like, that's a lot of premium. It's like way more than 2,000 policies. Like, that's a lot. I didn't even go out to dinner to celebrate. I'm already thinking about $2 million. So yeah, I'm excited. I got it. But just like you, okay, so how much more production are you writing now than you were 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever? A lot more. You're not partying. What's next? What's next? What's next? So you got to keep that pedal through the floor. It can never stop.
What happens if you do slow down? Your business starts dissipating.
Yeah.
And it starts going away. It just happens slowly, but you'll wake up if you're not putting the same amount of effort. You'll wake up 6 months goes by and you're like, man, what's happened?
You ever hear the word FOMO?
I haven't. So what does FOMO mean?
So it's called fear of missing out, right? A little acronym that they got out there. And I got to tell you, like, my phone is in my pocket right now and it's vibrating like you wouldn't believe. And I have so much fear of missing out, of helping some people and growing my business that it's driving me insane right now. You know what I mean? Because you got to be present every day. You can't just go take time off and do things and not work. It's got to be
you can take a lot of time off, but you have to plan it.
I guess.
When I say a lot, I'm talking about like several weekends, not weeks at a time.
Well, that's why I always like the senior life trips, because it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We get back to work on Monday. I like that. I like that kind of trip. When I go away for a week, when I was up in Montana for my sister-in-law's wedding, oh my gosh, it's beautiful up there. I loved going for the wedding. I wanted to get back and go to work.
It's funny how contagious that gets when you're around people that have the same disease. We have a disease. This, it is kind of a disease that once you taste the success of this business, it's real easy to continue just pushing and pushing and pushing, and do forget about some birthdays or be out of town on some birthdays and ball games, and you can plan all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have the disease, it's going to be very hard for you to reach the successes that we're talking about reaching. And at the end of the day, it's really work. That's when you cut it down to its simplest form. And no, not every day are you going to be happy.
Yeah.
And no, not every day is things going to be exactly perfect. Life is not perfect. Business is not perfect, but it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
And if you get on fire and you do the things that successful people are telling you, there is no way to fail. So, kind of in closing for a little bit is you're living proof of what can take place. You're living proof that you can take your business to whatever level that you desire. As you've got more successful, what amount of time do I spend coaching and leading you at this point?
Well, I mean, Obviously, I think the quick answer that I would say is a lot less, and
Exactly.
and I would say just because it's the fact that you've already spent so much time pointing me in the right direction. It's almost like every once in a while, you just like a little nudge. You know what I mean? It's more of correcting and adjusting than, because I think that job's already been done.
And kind of what's my point is that, early on, you put a lot of effort into getting someone up and going.
Yeah.
But once they get up and going and they get the disease, it kind of becomes self-service
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I
couldn't stop David Price if I tried.
Just like I can't stop you if you try.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And whether I call you every hour on the hour, I call you once a day, once a week, or never. At this point, you're going to take your business to $2 million a month,
yeah,
$3 million a month, $4 million a month, and it just was.
I do get a little excited when you call me more, though. Just so you know. All right.
It's just a crazy business. It's been a
you mentioned something a few minutes ago, and I just wanted to make a point on the leads. And it just hit me because you asked me a question earlier, which is, what excited me a lot about Senior Life early on. And leads is definitely a big part of that. And what really excited me about the leads was the fact that we generated all those leads in-house. We've all worked leads from lead vendors before, and one thing that always made me very, very uncomfortable is that if you were to buy nothing other than all your leads from a lead vendor, isn't it safe to say that that lead vendor has your book of business?
Yes.
And I was never comfortable. No, because I know that these guys and girls, whoever owns the company, they're going to resell those leads, and some other agent is going to be talking to your book of business. And I never liked that, so that was one thing about the leads that were really, really important to me. But then also in the way that we distribute these leads and so many options we have, especially now with like Leads the Way, how you can get a lead into an agent's hand, like basically instantly, that's to me is mind blowing. I was speaking to an agent yesterday, and some of the leads that he was receiving were 45 and 60 days old. And I think here at Senior Life, we do such a good job of getting these leads in the agent's hands as quickly as heavenly possible. That makes a difference because people are scared of leads. Let's be honest. I'd say a lot of times when I'm talking to people, especially people that know nothing about the business, you see people that are agents, they understand they got to get leads. They may not like it, but they understand it. But like a newer person, you're telling them that they're going to have to pay money for a lead, scares the heck out of them. You know what I mean? But I think that when I can confidently tell them and speak of the quality of our leads with certainty, that when somebody reached out to us that they want to buy insurance, like I can speak very certain about that because I know where they're generated, and they're generated right on the other side of that wall. And I know the people that are doing the marketing strategies and TV and stuff to make that stuff happen, where I can't speak on behalf of a vendor, So like that to me, like when I bring a new person in and I know that if I'm going to give them those leads, that those people want to buy some insurance, it's sifting through the little knee-jerk reactions of, oh, that wasn't me, or oh, whatever, like, because that's going to come with it. But you got to get through that. And we teach you how to get through all that stuff, but.
Well, I think the point that you're really trying to make is that at Senior Life, we don't recycle.
No, we don't.
We don't resell those leads. The point that you're making, Doug, is that you have confidence in our lead department, our lead program, because you know that we're not selling those leads to multiple agents.
Yeah. Or they're just some nonsense or whatever, some names written on a piece of paper.
We got into the lead business 30 years ago, I make this as a joke for a second, you know, the quickest or the next move I've seen in our industry for people that can't sell final expense insurance is that they become a lead guru
Yeah.
and they start their own lead company. Uh, yes, we own a lead company, but it's for not the reason of making the money off the lead. And yes, I've seen many people that couldn't sell final expense become lead gurus because everybody's looking for the next best, greatest lead. But we started our lead company for several reasons. One, being able to control uh, the time that it takes to get those leads in, uh, being in a position that we know wholeheartedly that your leads are not being resold, which is your book of business.
Yeah.
And, you know, we try our dead level best to provide the highest quality lead that we know how at the lowest cost. You know, I get this question a lot. And then I also know that people sometimes want to ask me the question is, does Senior Life make money in leads? Uh, so I want to answer that question. Senior Life does not look at the lead as a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
We look at it as a way to provide our agents with the best quality lead at the lowest cost, where we can control the time limit that it takes to get them in. We can control the responses. We have no reason to want your leads to be old.
Yeah.
We want you to work that lead as soon as you possibly can. And that's why we created Leads the Way, is that our agents can work certain type of leads instantly. When that person calls in at the highest time of interest, you, the agent, can talk to that individual right then.
Yeah.
Where in America can you get those type leads?
Consistently.
Yes. I mean, right then at the highest. Okay, if you're not a telesales agent, you can still get that lead, and we route that lead. We tell you how far it is.
You could text message the customer, I'm on my way. Boom, right from the app. Directions pull up, the whole nine.
Right from
the app.
So again, we compare our leads to everyone else in the industry also. And I can tell you, I believe, and our track record speaks, that we have the best lead program in America. Again, you know, we're always trying to make it better.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked other leads. And when I came over here, this is my experience. They were way better. Like it was a huge, big breath of fresh air when I didn't have to tippy toe around the fact that I was going there to sell life insurance.
You know, I'll elaborate on this just a little bit. One thing that we're going to be trying in 2023 to do a lot more is to provide our agents with a lot more TV leads.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this is a subject that I could talk on for an hour, but the simplistic answer is we want our agent working the highest quality lead that we possibly can.
Yeah. There's really no better lead than a TV lead.
You know, I'll
in my opinion.
Here's what I keep telling Wade: as direct mail lead cost has went up, if I'm going to have to spend that much for a direct mail, I'd rather spend a little more and get a TV lead.
Yeah.
And, you know, I will tell you that we're trying our best every day to try to lower the lead cost. And I think in 2023, there will be some leads that will be lower cost. And then they may be some that are higher cost, but we always try to put ourselves in the agent's shoes. And we always try to think that if we can't make it, we can't expect them to make it.
You know, one thing that's a really, really important point I want to make is just this last August, a couple months ago, was my 9th anniversary with Senior Life. And obviously, we've all said that I've built a pretty large organization, and to date, career to date, I've never went 1 week in this business without being able to provide every one of my agents the leads that they needed to go to work with. Never once.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad that we got a perfect record with you on that. And again, we try our dead level best.
Well, you always told me just stay ahead of it. Stay ahead of it. And I've just always stayed ahead of it, and it worked out. Again, trusting from the people that have the experience.
I think that's the answer there, is that if individuals will just come in and adopt what has already been proven and really don't try to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
And, every minute that you're trying to recreate the wheel is another minute you could just be selling another policy.
Yeah.
And what I will say that I have found agents that fail is they're always trying to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
They're always trying to make an excuse that they sell their self and they sell to their family the reason that they didn't keep their doors open to their business.
Yeah.
With that said, it doesn't matter what lead, it doesn't matter where it's at. If you don't go see it, you will never make a sale.
Yeah.
And if you had the attitude and the drive that I don't care what lead, where it's at, just give me 30, 40, or 50 every single week, and I'll make it happen. If you would just follow that system and just go do the work, there's no way to fail.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And I think nowadays too, Ron, like you don't have to go that far. Like when you were growing up in this business, you were trucking to a whole different state. With the technology and the way that you have built this lead department, maybe you got to go a couple hours here and there every once in a while. But for the most part, you don't really have to go that far ever.
It has changed. Back when I was working leads, 95% of the time you were staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
2 and 3 nights a week. It's direct opposite of that now. 95% of the time, an agent's in their home, in their own bed, 95% of the time. I remember a few agents that we recruited together used to drive from Miami to Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is in the same state, but from Miami, Florida to Pensacola, Florida is a long doggone
It's
way.
like 8 to 10 hours or something. Like it's far.
And their company was having them drive that far. And if you don't watch it, you'll get lazy with our lead program because it's real easy to take for granted what we have.
Yeah.
There's not a final expense company that has the total package that we do, or the platform that we have.
And the willingness to get better always and do more and do more. Don't just stop there for you doing a couple Zoom calls. Like if it takes doing something totally different, you're going to do it.
And I do have the confidence in what we're doing, and I do have the track record, and I do tell people, and it is so funny that an agency lose someone in their agency, and I would tell them they'll be back.
Yeah.
And they do come back. And we're just making that point as an interesting point. Another point is that you can't rest on where you're at or who you have on your team. You've always got to be recruiting new blood, always got to be recruiting new agents or new leaders. That is the backbone of the business, and you've got to keep doing that.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
2023 is coming close.
Yeah.
Or 2023 is right around the corner.
I can't believe it.
And I want to encourage you to work hard the rest of the year. I want to encourage you to start planning now for 2023. And I want you to be doing, by the end of 2023, $4 million a month.
I like that. Sounds good.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Well, thank you for your time today. And
you excited?
I look forward to the next. Yes, sir. Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Fire.